Slow motion can add plenty of interest and drama to footage in certain circumstances, especially when the scene contains moving elements at close distance. In this video I will show how to apply different degrees of slow motion to footage taken with the DJI Mini 4 Pro and Air 3 using different frame rates. The settings for slow motion are the same for the two models. Slow motion is not very useful when shooting landscape footage at high altitude and far from the target, which is sometimes the case with drones. But anytime we have moving elements, we can add more interest to the scene by slowing down the action. With the camera close to the action, slow motion conveys a different mood to the scene. Let's see a few examples of slow motion applied to footage taken with drones and with ground-based cameras. This technique adds a lot of interest not only to sport and action, but also to a group of people walking or dancing, cars, waves, fountains and waterfalls. Another spectacular effect is obtained by speed ramping, suddenly slowing down from regular speed to slow motion or the other way around. In the Mini 4 Pro and Air 3, clicking on the icon above the big red shutter, we access the photo-video mode. If we select video, a second menu appears on the left, with options for normal, night and slow motion. Let's select the last one. As you can see from the resolution and frame rate window on the lower right, in slow motion mode the frame rate at 4K resolution is 100 frames per second, which is very slow and can be considered super slow motion. This is a major improvement for the Mini 4 Pro and the Air 3, as the Mini 3 Pro has a maximum frame rate of 60 frames per second at 4K resolution. The most widely used frame rates are 24 or 30 frames per second. I will refer to 24 as this is the one I use in my video project. Footage shot at 100 frames per second is 4 times slower than normal when using a frame rate of 24, and as you can see it is very slow. When filming at the resolution of 1080p, we can choose between 100 and 200 fps for an extreme 8 times slow motion. In slow motion mode, the footage is slowed down automatically. There is no need to convert 100 frames per second to the frame rate of the timeline. This mode is ideal for users applying slow motion for the first time, as it is very user-friendly, immediately ready to use. It is always possible to accelerate footage while editing without loss of quality. The same is not true when slowing it down. Suppose we have 4 seconds of footage shot at 24 frames per second, which equals 96 frames, 24 multiplied by 4. If we want to accelerate the footage to double speed, we will have 2 seconds of footage still at 24 frames per second, so 48 frames. We have plenty of frames available, all the software has to do is to drop half of the frames and keep the 48 needed, so there will be no loss of quality. But if we want to slow down our 4-second clip to half speed, 192 frames are needed, 24 frames per second multiplied by 8 seconds. There are only 96 available, so the editing program has to create new frames, and this is where the quality declines, whatever method we use. Footage taken in slow motion is excellent in certain situations. However, we might prefer a more subtle effect on other occasions. With both models in 4K resolution, we have several frame rates available to apply slow motion: 30, 48 and 60 frames per second. The best way to slow down a clip is to start with more frames. In a 4-second clip shot at 48 frames per second, 192 frames are available. If we slow it down by half, we end up with an 8-second clip, since our project is at 24 frames per second. We need 24 frames by 8 seconds, equal 192. We have exactly the frames we need. The best results are obtained using a frame rate that is a multiple of the one used in the timeline, so that all the frames are used. With a frame rate of 48 frames per second, the resulting footage will be at half speed, compared to quarter speed in the previous example using the slow motion mode. Other frame rates can be used for slow motion. For example, it is possible to shoot at 30 frames per second and encode at 24 to get a very subtle 20% slowdown effect, used quite often in movies. However, the software has to create one frame out of each 5. This can cause small artifacts, but the result is good enough for most usages. We can also use 60 frames per second for a 60% slowdown effect, slightly slower than half speed. In this case, some frames will again be extrapolated. Footage taken in 30, 48 or 60 frames per second plays at normal speed before editing. For slow motion, we need to interpret it or slow it down in a video editor. I'm using Premiere Pro, which offers 2 different methods. I will show you the simplest one, available in most other editors. After selecting the clip on the timeline, we right-click and choose Speed Duration. We are presented with this window to enter the desired speed in percentage. In this case, we have a 48 frames per second clips and we want to slow it down to half speed. So we enter 50%. The duration of the speed displayed just below will double. If the footage was shot at 30 frames per second, we must enter 80% to get a subtle reduction of 20% compared to normal speed. For a file shot at 60 frames per second, enter 40% for a result slightly slower than half speed. Someone may ask, since 60 frames per second footage can be used at normal speed, what about always shooting at 60 frames per second, just in case we decide to slow it down later? I suggest planning and shooting at higher frame rates only footage that we want to slow down. 60 frames per second footage produces bigger files, requires more processing resources, and is not as cinematic when played at normal speed. Click on this link to watch my video about all the settings for video in the Mini 4 Pro and the Air 3. And don't forget to hit the like button if you found this video interesting. Thank you.